Hello guys, it's me Shamil here, and in this video, I will be showing off my refine prediction for the 6.5 updates for Fae. Now, I think you guys already know, or have seen already, that the new units, or that 6 new units are gonna get a refine, that being Gharnef, Thea, Idunn, Duma, Kaden, and Picnic Felicia. These all are gonna get a refine slash getting a new weapon to also get a refine. That would be Thea with her Icy Maltet. But anyways, this patch is gonna be very interesting because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This patch is probably one of the hardest ones to predict because these units, particularly, already have like a good, are kind of good already in a way. However, to make them even better, it's gonna be even harder to keep up with the standard with intelligent systems. But I think I've done the best I could have done, so let's get right into these refines. The first refine is going to be Kaden, which is his Kitsune Fang. Now, Kitsune Fang used to be 14 might range 1, grants defense plus 3, and grants allies within 2 spaces a bonus to their stats based on units bonuses, which was basically like a drive. I wouldn't say bonus doubler, but it's kind of the same idea where any buff on Kaden, like visible buff, will be granted on allies within 2 spaces during combat. So if he would have speed res plus 6, which is his link skill and the B skill, then he would give his allies within 2 spaces speed res plus 6. And that would used to actually be a really strong effect. I think it still is really good because a drive effect that's that effective is pretty good, especially nowadays because, you know, stat buffing is ridiculous these days. But now with his refine, I kept it the same, but additionally I gave him at start of combat if his HP is 50% or higher, or if he has a bonus active, he gets plus 4 to all stats. I didn't go the way of giving him bonus doubler because he's already getting like a lot of stats, and giving him even more would be ridiculous, even though it's kind of needed for him. I just don't see it really. But now for his refine, if he is within 3 spaces of his support partner at start of turn, he gets plus 6 to all of his stats for a turn, no panic for 1 turn, and then he gets to transform even if his other beast condition is not met. So basically, his original beast condition is that he will transform if he's only adjacent to dragon or beasts, or if he's solo. In this case, if he's within 3 spaces of support partner, he can also do that. And then additionally, if he's within 3 spaces of an ally, he gets plus 4 to all stats. So overall, this refine would make him weird because, you know, Kaden is really meant to be a support character, or a support hero in this case. But intelligent systems tend to like give these units a way to do both effectively, basically allowing them to be supportive and being able to be in combat. We saw that with Legendary Zura and like some other units, but I feel like Kaden would get the same thing because, especially with as a cavalry beast, there's a lot you could do with these kinds of units, and the fact that he's just supporting is not that exciting to me. So I gave him something to really boost himself. So this whole kit with the plus 6, the plus 4 from the refine, and plus from the base effect, will get an effective plus 14 to all of his stats and no panic, and he will give his allies plus 6 to all stats if he's within 2 spaces at least. So again, this is like another stat ball of a refine, I would say. However, giving himself the no panic is like the one thing that he kind of needs because of his Kitsune Fang. If he wants to grant his allies the bonuses, he kind of needs to keep those bonuses. So if he would get panicked, then that's kind of a waste. So this would generally just be a good refine for him. Would it be the greatest thing in the world? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do better. They probably will do better, but this is my prediction. Next refine is Idunn with her demonic breath. Now, her old demonic breath used to have 60 might range 1, defense plus 3, its effect is armored, and at start of combat, if her HP was under 100%, or if she had a penalty active, She gets a +4 to all stats and neutralize her own penalties during combat. It used to be a really good breath, and it still kind of is a good breath. However, now, the same condition is there, however, there's more to it. Where at start of combat, if her HP is under 100%, or if penalty is active on units, or a bonus is active on foe, she will gain +4 to all stats, she will neutralize her own penalties, and then she will neutralize foes' bonuses during combat. So it's basically dual self-neutralizing bonuses, I don't know what it's called exactly, and then +4 to all stats. So this generally would help her out a lot, giving her basically what the other Idunns have, basically. Mainly the, what is it, the Ascended Idunn with Wily Fighter. I think Ascended Idunn is the only one that is able to, like, neutralize bonuses on foe. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know if Spring Duo Idunn is also able to do that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but this would basically fit that category, allowing her to do what she is able to do nowadays. So the dual effect is really strong for her, especially with those stats. No bonuses, that's going to be really risky. Now, additionally, for her Refine, if foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is 75% or higher start of combat, she inflicts attack rolls -5 on foe during combat, and the foe cannot make follow-up attack. It's really, really simple, and it might be boring. However, this is generally what she needs. This is all she kind of needs. Other than the fact that maybe she could get damage reduction. However, the real issue with her is that she can easily get doubled because she's not the fastest unit in the world, and preventing foe from making a follow-up attack is going to be huge for her. So I generally feel like this Refine would help her out a lot more than you would actually think, because considering that armor units are slow, like that's pretty much every armor unit except for some of the fast ones like Winter Hilda, but these are all seasonal. But I feel like this Refine would help her out with the offense from other foes, or from the opponent at least, especially if there's a Yuri on the opponent's team. Idunn could simply just not take 2 hits from it. So I guess I personally feel like this Refine is good. Now I personally feel like IS is gonna do more, but this is again my prediction. So yeah. Next, we have Thea with her new IC Maltet. Now, we don't know what her IC Maltet is going to be. That is what the Refine is going to be about. Because she's our D-Mode unit, or should I say, I think she's our first Book 3 D-Mode unit, who's getting a Refine at least. And she might just be the first D-Mode period for Book 3. But her stats are actually pretty good, like very decent defensive stats. Her stats are really similar to like a Wyvern, except if we're in Gen 3, because nowadays Wyverns have a lot more stats than that, but it is what it is, because she came out a little bit earlier. Now for her, for what we already knew is that she came with Vanguard, which if foe initiates combat, she gets defense +7 during combat, so it actually is like not the worst thing in the world. It's still really great. However, it was actually, a refund was due to happen one day, and it happened, so I'm actually glad for that. Now, I made it 60 might range 1, and if foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is 75% at start of combat, she gets +4 all stats, and she will neutralize foes' effects, or at least she will neutralize effects that guarantee foe a follow-up attack. So this is like the opposite of no follow-up, or flow flight if you want to really be specific with that. In this case, she will inflict half no follow-up, I would say. This is basically what Valentine Owain had for her lance, except this is +4 to all stats instead of +5 attack and speed. So yeah, that's basically what this weapon is. This is basically what the weapon is. It's really it's alright. No follow-up that prevents foes follow-up specifically is not the greatest thing ever. However, for a D-Mode, there's not much you could expect from those. So I think this is like fair. Now, for her refine, if she is within 3 spaces of an ally, she gets plus 4 stats. She will deal damage based on 50% of her own defense, and then she will also reduce damage from foes' attacks, which are not air effect specials, by 15% over her own defense. Now, this is very similar to Spring Maria, where she can do 20% of damage reduction and dealing damage of her own defense. Except the only exception is that Thea does not get IO Shield and 7 HP healing after combat. That's the only exception, but it makes up for the fact that she gets half no follow-up, which is the enemy part. But that would be honestly really strong for her, considering that her entire purpose is to be an enemy phase unit. This refine, or this whole weapon, would kind of do both in a way, but more on the offensive or the defensive side. But this refine would generally just help her out with sustainability, because nowadays her defense, or her stats at least, her defensive stats are actually pretty decent. They're not the greatest, but they can be improved a lot by this refine, or just by using merges or flowers in the alter case. So this refine would be really good for her. Will they do something different? I feel like they will do something different, because it's like this is like very similar to what we already have in the game, but IS tends to do refines that are similar to other effects or things. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, but I will also not be surprised if they don't. Our fourth unit that's getting a refine is Duma, God of Strength. Now, this is our second ever mythic to get a refine, and to also get a remix for her. For his new remix, I would say, comes to Fury 4, which is kind of odd, but I can kind of see why they did it, because, you know, he's God of Strength, and this gives him strength, but also the purpose of Upheaval Plus now having an attack check that is before combat. So yeah, I guess that's why they gave the Fury. It's kind of weird, but I get it. Now, his original weapon granted attack plus 3, and if foe's HP is under 100% at start combat, he will gain attack res plus 6 during combat and foe cannot make full attack. That was the old one. However, he's getting a refine, so there's a lot going to be changed. Now, I decided to give him a lot more things that he should, actually, because I'm going to be real with you guys. He is a weird kind of unit. He's an armored unit with Bolt Fire, and he's mainly used on defense. It's just weird. So what I did, I kept attack plus 3 because that's like pretty much you gotta keep it. But now at the start of turn, you can move an extra space, and he will gain the status which allows him to warp within 2 spaces of an ally, or adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces, for a whole turn. So he basically gets what Brave Aelgar gets without the HP restriction. Now, that alone would help him out tremendously for a lot of purposes, because if he's going to be in the back, allowing him to directly attack and such, this will be amazing for him, especially when he has Bolt Fighter. This would be great. Now, additionally, at start of combat, if his own or foe's HP is under 100%, he'll gain plus 6 to all of his stats, and the foe cannot make fall attack. So, instead of attack res plus 6, he now gets plus 6 to all of his stats. And now the condition also works if his own HP is under 100%, because, you know, he has Fury. So it could actually work out pretty well. But now additionally for his refine, this refine is kind of weird because this refine relies on your HP being 25% or higher. However, he gets Fury, so yeah. But at start of combat, if his HP is 25% or higher, he gets plus 4 stats. He will reduce the first hit from foe by 30%, and then additionally, if his attack is higher than foe's res, his first attack will deal damage equal to 30% of the difference, basically. So this is basically a dual-faced Dragon's Wrath, where this is 30% damage reduction, and 30% of attack res difference as extra damage for first attack. So this generally would be very, very strong for him, considering that, you know, he's the God of Strength. He has 63 attack with all of this. So, and he has a super boon as well, so he can go up to 67. So And he also has the attack check in his C skill, which has the dual effect. So this whole refine would make him an actual god, which is fitting because he's the god of strength. But this refine would actually help him out both in the enemy team, I would say, because as a Aether defender, he just stays in the back. He just kind of defends. He's not meant to like attack or such, but he kind of has to attack because of his bullfighter and the fact that his whole gimmick is that. But this refine would help him out tremendously with that, so I hope they do this, or maybe they do something better than this. I don't know how exactly, but I kind of wish they would do that, so I'm actually excited. This prediction would be amazing for me. The 5th unit is gonna be Picnic Felicia. So she's kind of awkward. Her base weapon is effect against beasts, obviously, speed +3, but at start of combat, if her res was higher than foe's res, she will inflict attack speed penalty on foe based on 50% of the difference between stats, which was going up to a maximum of -8. She is really weird, I would say, because this whole weapon just relies on her being defensive. She doesn't actually deal more damage of it. She just takes less, which is like, I guess fitting. But considering that it's Felicia, she has very low attack, and this is no different. She has 30 base attack in this Picnic ult, so yeah. So I decided for her refine to switch it up a lot. So here, effect against beasts, speed +3. At start combat, if her res is higher than foe's res, or if foe's HP 75% or higher, she will inflict attack speed defense -4 on foe during combat. And there's a new condition at start combat, if her res is higher than foe's res, she will inflict a penalty on foe's attack speed defense during combat equal to 80% of the difference between stats at start of combat, which is a minimum of -0 and a maximum of -8, allowing for a -12 from just the base effect alone. Now, this would be not just a little upgrade, but a huge upgrade in general, because it's no longer doing attack speed -8 at most. It's attack speed and defense -12, allowing her to actually deal damage in most cases, which she kind of wants to do in most cases, because, with 30 base attack and 46 total attack with your weapon, you're not going to go far, I would say. So, and additionally, for her refine, if her HP is 25% or higher at start of combat, she will inflict another attack speed defense -4 on foe during combat, for a total of -16 attack speed defense if she has 10 more res than the foe. But additionally, if she deals damage to foe using her special, which in this case is going to be Glaciers if her special triggers, then she will restore HP equal to X% of her max HP, where X is the total or the max special cooldown count value times 20 plus 10, which is a max 100, and it will trigger even if 0 damage dealt. So basically, with Glaciers, that's 4 times 20 is 80, plus 10 is 90. So if her Glaciers procs, she will heal 90% of her max HP. Now, you guys think that's going to be broken, and it's also, I would agree, it is broken. However, if the opponent has guard or tempo skill or something similar like that, she will simply fall down to the floor quick, because she's not going to be able to proc the special, meaning that she's not going to heal. And 90% is a lot, and especially for her, this would be the amazing refine, considering that she's an armor unit with an save skill. Like, you will not be able to beat her unless you have guard or such. So you got to make sure that she doesn't proc her special if she has any. And yeah, this would simply just be the most strong thing in the whole thing. But again, they might not do this because this is only a prediction, and Intelligent Systems tend to do different kinds of stuff and do stuff that no one actually expects, I would say, for some units. And for Felicia, it's gonna be kind of weird what they do for her. So I'm definitely excited for what they do for her, and I kind of hope they do this, because this would just make her really great. So yeah. And then the final unit is Gharnef, or GHP, for the Refine batch. Now, his original weapon grants res +3, but at start of turn 3, He will deal 7, or not 7, 5 damage to foes within 5 rows centered on him, and then will also inflict the status preventing counterattacks, in other words, flash. But there's another thing, it will not affect any non-magic foes, which I find just kind of ridiculous. Like, okay, sure, it's fitting for the story, however, that just makes him look even worse, because 5 damage and flash on foes in 5 rows, just like that, but not on magic foes. Like, magic foes are the most dangerous units ever, and the fact that he's not even going to be able to prevent that, whew, yeah, he really did need a refine. Now, for this, I want to just close this. Actually, no, I'm saving for now. But now his new refine, which I made, he will grant rest plus 3 at start of turns 2 and 3. He will deal 7 damage to foes within 5 rows or 5 columns centered on unit, and he will inflict the status which prevents counterattacks through the next action. And initially, if he initiates combat or if he's not adjacent ally, he will inflict attack res -5 on foe in combat. Now, this is something I want to just talk about. A lot of people are saying or thinking that he's going to get a speed buff, or maybe he will also inflict a penalty on speed. Now, I can totally see him doing that, considering that his base stats, speed is his highest stats. However, I personally don't see that. Now, it's not for the meme. I just don't see it giving him more speed, because one, he's already kind of slow, which, I think 34 speed is not slow, but it's definitely not fast enough to keep up in this current meta. Now, I know what you're gonna say, what about Jomke? Well, his refine is based on speed, so he kind of needs it, so shut up with that, first of all. And also the second thing is that his kit is so weird. He has mirror stance too, and he has chill attack. Like, this is kind of asking for him to be a little bit defensive, even though he really isn't, you know? But yeah, I just gave him attack was -5 on foe because it works with his kit, and that's the point of these refines most of the cases. Now, for his refine, at start of combat, if his HP is 25% or higher, he will inflict attack risk -5 on foe during combat. But also, the following conditions or following effects will occur based on the total value of penalties on foe plus the damage dealt to foe at start of combat, which if you guys don't know what that means, it's basically saying how much HP the foe is missing at start of combat. If it's equal or higher than 1, he will make a guaranteed fall attack. If it's equal or higher than 10, he will reduce the percentage of foes' non-special damage reduction skills by 50%, which the example says here 45 would turn into 23. Now, this kind of concept is really different from what IS has done, because I don't believe they have done this ever. An effect or just a calculation based on foes and missing HP, like, that could go a long way. And considering that he's going to be dealing damage on turns 2 and 3, this would work perfectly. And also the penalty is just there in case of other scenarios, because he also has chill attack, so this would just make him really strong. So if the foe has a penalty or if he's damaged, he will make a guaranteed fall attack. And you know, that's also the other reason why I didn't give him any speed, because, you know, making guaranteed fall attack, it will work out for him. It's gonna be fine. And then the halving damage reduction on foes, if there's 10 or more, that's just generally to help out with the fact that, you know, foes have like a lot of speed these days, and then they have a lot of damage, and there's a lot of damage reduction skills out there in general. So having that is gonna be strong for him. Now, will this refine happen? I kind of don't see it happening, but it's my prediction again. However, I would love for them to do this, because this is a concept that I kind of want to see them introduce. Effects that would happen based on foes is missing HP. Like, we've obviously got effects that occur based on missing HP, like Owain's Refine, where it's basically a vengeance in his weapon. So I kind of want to see them do this again, or that again at least. With Gharnef, if they do it, I'll be more than happy. And, you know, I might build him if he gets this exact refine. which just shows I'm not gonna build him because I frankly don't care. But you know what? It's whatever. He's gonna get a refine. It's gonna be great. Can't complain about that. And that's gonna be it for my refine predictions of this update. Now, like I said at the very beginning of the video, this refined batch was hard to predict because these units are already great, and I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna BS my way out of that. Like, I honestly feel like these units have been good for so long already, and they're still holding up, like, a little bit. They're not as great, obviously, in this day and age. However, giving them a refine is definitely what they needed to bring them back again. So I'm actually happy that these units are getting refined, especially Gharnef, because he was really bad. I'm sorry for everyone that likes Gharnef, but you cannot convince me that his weapon was kind of bad. So yeah, giving all of them a refund, I'm actually happy for them. Doom, I'm gonna be very excited about because I have no idea what they're gonna do for him. Thea, I'm also excited because you know she can go any way with this, and then Felicia, you know what, that could also happen in most cases. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed, and obviously I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these because you know every month a refined batch comes out, and I will predict it for you guys, and I will put it on YouTube for you guys to watch and just to hear my reasoning for why and an analysis about how good it would be actually. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Fire Emblem Heroes content from me, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.